Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Leading-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Welcome back to Season 2 of SheEO Lead-In on Cloudcast Media, the podcast that shines a spotlight on remarkable women in leadership. I'm Erin Tanner, the show's producer, filling in for our host, Rebecca Jones. Get ready to dive deep into the personal stories of influential San Diego women who have blazed trails, conquered obstacles, and achieved incredible successes, all while empowering the next generation of young women to step confidently into their own leadership roles. We are set to bring you more empowering conversations that celebrate the women in leadership. Let's lead in together. All right, so we are here this morning with Samantha Beck, Executive Director of Lead San Diego. I'm so happy to have you here with us.
Hi, Erin. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. We met, a year ago or so now?
Yeah.
Or I reached out to you and hi, I heard your name. I love you. You love me back.
Yeah, I think it was earlier this year. You were interested in Advance. So we got to meet over coffee
which you came and did a one-on-one with me when I was like, when does this woman have time to do a one-on-one coffee date with me? But that was just thank you.
Oh my gosh, always time for a one-on-one, especially for anyone interested in Advance. Advance is our women's program at Lead San Diego, and it's very near and dear to my heart. And I think just anyone who's interested and wants their life to change and make an impact, I will always have time for.
Thank you. And that's exactly what it does. Would you tell us a bit about Lead and your involvement in it?
Yeah, of course. So Lead San Diego was started about 42 years ago. It's now part of the Chamber of Commerce, and it is the leadership development arm of the Chamber. And that means that we provide 3 different programs that get local leaders involved in the community and help them build their own leadership journey. So our flagship program is called Impact, and that is a 10-month-long program where we get about 50 or so regional leaders to come together once a month, and we focus on a different issue or topic facing our region. And they also get to complete a project for a nonprofit partner here in the region. So they get to not only learn, grow their network, but give back. And then Advance, like I said, very near and dear to me. It's been around since 2017, and that is our Women's Advancement Program. And that is 6 months of women meeting once a month and diving deep into different topics to grow in their leadership skills. So it could be anything from mindset and confidence to how to be a good board member. So we cover not just the mental components and the things that get in our own way, but also how we can really train and be better leaders ourselves. And then we have Influence. It's our C-suite program. And we condense that 10-month-long impact program into 3 days for our C-suite and exec leaders. And we don't skip a beat. We do every field trip and every topic and every speaker in 3 really, really long days, but it's pretty impactful and really wonderful.
It has been. We're in just completed the 3rd month of Advance.
Yeah, we're halfway through.
I don't want it to be
I know. I hate when it's over. It's the best. Yeah.
But it really is. It's life-changing, and it's everything that we were discussing. The community loves Lead San Diego. Loves it. So thank you.
Well, and like I said to you before in our meeting, I inherited the best organization ever. Like I said, it's been around for 40 years, but the Chamber for going on 7 or 6 years. And I can't believe every day that I get to do this and that I get to not just live in my strengths, but watch other people develop theirs and live in theirs.
Yes. Speak to that.
It's a dream.
So there's a bit like the fulfillment part of it for you, and you mentioned it was that you use strength finders, or everyone's kind of operating in their genius. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I'm actually, it's now, I always call it Strengths Finder, but it's actually called Clifton Strengths now, and I'm actually a certified trainer. So I got trained, I think 6 or 7 years ago, and had my work at the Chamber. I'm from Sacramento, was working there, and started a little side business doing strengths training for different members, for their teams, and absolutely fell in love with it. And my number one strength, if you can speak strengths, is developer, which means
to me, we speak the same language.
So my number one is developer, meaning I love to watch people become who they dreamt of being or meeting their highest potential. And so for me, I get to live in that every day. And we do a strengths training in every one of our programs. So Impact and Advance, everybody that goes through those programs is able to do a deep dive training into their own personal strengths and learn more about themselves, who they are as a leader, and how they want to show up in the community.
I love it. I don't know why this isn't in every business. I've implemented it in my own. So for my business, I connecting who you are to what you do to have a fulfilling life. I don't know why where work and life don't mix. I don't know why they ever separate. And so I absolutely do. And we're just so much happier and enjoy it.
So much happier. And that was one thing that when I would train teams, if you are unhappy in your work, if you're unhappy in the thing that you're at 8 to 10 hours a day, then what happens when you go home? You go home to your spouse or your children, or if it's your dog, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you aren't fully present and you aren't ready to engage. And so when you are unfulfilled in your job and your occupation, that ripples out to every part of your life. And you can't just wait for the weekend and wait to go, here or there or whatever. This is the majority of your life is spent doing this thing. So whatever that might be, I hope that you're able to identify, some of your strengths and how you can show up in those strengths in whatever occupation that is.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
That was a big thing that we did.
It unlocks so much for you of like, I remember before learning mine, it's like, well, what do I have to offer? Like, because it comes so naturally to you, you're like, doesn't everybody do this? Or like, and then when you like, no, they don't.
No.
Like, how do I flex this? How do I? Yeah. And so
I remember I saw my strengths and they were all, when I first took it, they've changed a bit now, but it was 4 out of the 5 were relationship building. And I was in my training course to be a trainer. And I said, this is like, what? I was like, I have the strengths of a lapdog. This is nonsense. And he stopped. He went, okay, everyone stop. This is what it's about right here. And we're going to talk about, you're going to run into this time after time where someone in your class that you're training is disappointed that these are their strengths, that they don't like seeing it in black and white. But this is who you are, and this is your power. And being a people person is a power, because not everybody is. And I had to realize that this is, I can use this to my benefit and make this it's my superpower.
It's your superpower. So to that, in advance, that's what the first thing that we do.
First thing.
Yeah, Strength Finders. Oh, sorry, Clifton Strength. Sorry. I want to get it right. And Amanda, she wrote down, I've raised my hand and I said, how do these come together? Help me. Because I was like intellect and learner. And I'm like, great. I want to know all the things about all the things. And she's like, yeah, you're like the Pacific Ocean. I'm like, tell me where this supports me. Because what is that one quote where it's, if you're a jack of all trades, you're like
master
nothing.
of none.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And that's what I felt like. I'm like, I'm a walking question mark with no real, this is what I can bring you. She's like, no, that's not it at all. You bring a little bit of something to a lot of different things. And I'm like, yeah, I do love wearing a lot of hats. I do like interjecting this random thing from whatever. And it does support me. So
it does. And that's just because that's at the top doesn't mean the others don't exist.
Absolutely.
So those other components are a part of you, but these are just where you thrive. Yeah. And it's important to know those things.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me about whether it was a person, a group, something that you guys did, because you work with a lot of change makers in San Diego. What is a story that stands out to you that is, impactful or just, wow, look at San Diego do its thing?
Like I said, this is, I am the luckiest person. And I will say that something that's really powerful that I just remember, again, when I started at Lead, it was April 2020. So we were completely virtual, and I did not go to an in-person program for a year and a half. So I didn't meet people for like a year and a half into my work, which was super interesting. But that first in-person influence program, meaning our executive level program, they were so eager to be there in person and to engage with one another and engage with the speakers. And again, you're in a room. I'm sitting there watching, I think that class we had about 24, 25 CEOs, okay, in one room for 3 days. And time after time, every speaker that came in, because what we do is we expose them to the issues facing the region. So some of these are unanswered questions. For instance, if we're talking about the unhoused or different things that are very major topics and no one knows how to answer, they're all sitting there, all change makers, all in charge of different organizations that can complete one thing or the other. And they just would stop the speaker and be, wait, I handle that. Let's talk. And it was like, okay, can we let them finish speaking real quick because they have a presentation? But they were making real changes in real time and having conversations after the speaker was done. They'd go and sidebar, and then those connections were made. And then they had someone come and talk about childcare. So now people are implementing childcare benefits into their overall organization benefits. So, I mean, it's pretty powerful to watch these things happen.
I can only imagine.
Like, you're sitting there just watching change happen that you then see announced, later on.
Those are really, really important things to solve, and that maybe have not been brought up in an organization yet, or like taken care of, considered. And the employee is going, what am I going to say? Who can I say it to? Are they going to listen? All these things. But when you have, hey, we've solved that problem, let me help you address it. I mean, everybody then thrives.
Exactly. And I think, there will never be a time with every question answered and every problem fixed. And that's the point, is that we bring together these people to create change and to keep this place going. And there's power in your network, and there's power in building those relationships. Again, like I said, I thought my relationship building was lame, but there is power in it, and it can really transform a community. And we get to see that in every program. Yeah.
And I heard once that we could have our strengths, and then when you ask those questions, maybe of other people that don't have that, it lights something else up in them of maybe not that they're going to have that be a dominant strength of theirs, but gives them other, perspectives, or, I didn't think of that because it wasn't in theirs. And you're right, I do need to lean more into whatever it is, XYZ.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the power of teams and not doing this all on our own. We can't. If we have these strengths, this means that we have weaknesses. Yes. So I think when we're aware, self-awareness to me is the key to great leadership. And when we're aware of what we're great at, we can be aware of what we're not great at and know who we need to call on, whether that's, people that we hire, people that we connect with, mentors, just knowing the gaps that we need filled.
Absolutely. How have you seen that connectivity that happens in those spaces continue, like post the 3 days intensives?
They are all still best friends to this day and invite us to all the stuff that they're doing. For instance, we had one of our influence grads of 2020 come and speak to the advanced class last week. And she mentioned that 3 of her influence classmates are on her board.
Wow.
And they stay connected. They support one another and continue to drive the mission of their various organizations together.
That is a huge thing. I remember going through a personal development and leadership course 12 years ago. And the people that are in that room, not only do I knew them way faster, deeper, faster, but we're still so close today because of what you go through and the topics that come up. It's like, I know what you want to solve. I hear your passion in that, or your purpose and stuff. So,
well, and you might be able to attest in advance. I mean, we get vulnerable and deep very quick. We don't waste time.
No,
we go there.
It absolutely presented an opportunity. It was the next day after class that I started off like this mass email to each one of them and saying, I need to be vulnerable with you about something. And it was the most beautiful hug and exactly what I was looking for 4 months ago when I came to you. I was like, I'm experiencing some really gnarly things in the workplace, and I need support. I need the women around me, and I've never had that before. Can you tell me more about Advance? And it's everything that not only did the past graduates that told me about it, but yeah, thank you for making that space. So
please don't make me cry on this podcast. I'm like, I love that so much. Those are the stories that just make it completely worth it. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, no. So to that, there's representation or role models that we have throughout our lives. You know, we all watch you up there every month just doing your thing and just so thankful that you stepped into your power. Who have those role models been for you?
You know, when you asked me that earlier, it took me a long time to really think about that. Growing up, I loved funny women. I grew up watching SNL and I Love Lucy and Mary Tyler Moore. And I just like worshiped those funny, quippy women. But really, when I think about my role models, I am raised by very strong women. My mom's a single mom, a nurse, and my grandmother, she just turned 90 and we're still very close.
Wow.
And you know, and my sister is my best friend and one of the, I don't know what I'm allowed to say on this, but one of the baddest bees in the world.
Yeah.
And I think about my family when I think about my role models. And no matter what happens to me, and I've shared with you earlier, I'm in a life flux, you know, with some personal things, and there is nothing that I could go through that they wouldn't support me through and that they wouldn't hold my hand through and be my biggest advocate. And they are my role models and they are my superheroes and who I hope I can be to somebody else. Because I can't think of a greater gift than the unconditional love that I have shown to me through the people in my life every day.
Absolutely. Would you say that is something that was taught to you? Like, what is one of the either that your mom taught you, your grandma taught you, all of them that you go, that is unconditional love?
Unconditional love. And when anything happens, we are there. Like, we will drop whatever is going on and we will be right there. Yeah, that's my family.
You spoke to a transition that's going on in your life right now, and one of your like lessons that you've learned is that feel the fear and do it anyways. I don't know if that ever gets easier, but how have you implemented that in your life?
I think that happened the other day. As simple as, God, I don't want to do this escrow paperwork. Do it anyway. And that's like so silly, but I'm not someone who's fearless. In fact, I was probably I was kind of a fraidy cat kid. And but a lot of life happened from an early point and up until, you know, yesterday, where sometimes I can't shake the fear. Sometimes it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to do it shaking in my boots is what I say. Okay, here we go.
I hear you.
I'm terrified, but I'm going to do this anyway.
Do you, Oprah said once that like success is when opportunity meets, or luck is it? There we go. When preparation meets opportunity, that's her definition for luck. How do you prepare for those times when knowing life is going to keep life in? How do you stay prepared for those things?
That's such a good question. You know, I think that I was thinking about this earlier. None of us can do this all alone.
I completely agree. I don't think we're meant to.
We're not meant to.
And whether we think it or not. Yeah. I mean, we're like, we're all alone. No one's ever experienced this before. And it's, find your people.
You need to find your people. And that could be family. That could be a great therapist. That could be mentors. It should probably be all of them. Let's be real. We should all be, you know, doing all the things we don't because we're humans. But we cannot do it alone. And I think the best way to prepare is knowing that there is just sort of like almost a peace in knowing that life is going to throw really hard stuff your way. I think that's one thing that I came to the conclusion to was the one constant I know is that life will be hard. So I am not going to sit around and wait for the other shoe to drop, which is often what we do as a trauma or fear response. What's going to happen next, you know, and we hold on for dear life.
Frozen.
How
in that
about we just
not.
understand that it's going to happen next, and we just do what we need to do.
Absolutely.
And follow your curiosity, follow the doors that open, pay attention, know yourself, spend time with yourself. I think if you can really spend time with yourself and know deep down who you are and your true core values, the rest will come into play. It'll feel hard. It'll feel off, but it will come together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I lived most of my life as a walking question mark, and it didn't until I recognized the power behind self-awareness, where I could walk into a room and go, I know who I am, so I don't have to, I don't have to chameleon or wonder, or I'm a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's just, and that I'm going to change, and that's okay too.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm here, and it's okay for me to take up space.
Yeah, absolutely. If we can get vulnerable a bit, you shared before getting started this morning about a curveball, and I don't even know what else to call it. It's just a lot. It's a lot that shared. And so could you spoke a bit about like mental health, like finding a therapist and things like that. How has or if you want to share, however you want to open up about that. So another passion about yours, I guess, is mental health or brain and all of that. So,
mental and brain health. And mental health always has been an important thing for me, even growing up, just with different challenges. But when I moved here, I moved here on a Saturday. And that following Tuesday, I had a massive stroke when I didn't know I had what's called an AVM, an arteriovenous malformation, that you're born with. I didn't know. I just had migraines pretty much my whole life and was told I just had migraines. And that turned into a pretty huge mass, and it ruptured, giving me a stroke, and was, very long story short, wound up in emergency brain surgery. And so that was my first. I had only been working at Lead for 2 months, and then that was my next 5 months. Recovery, all the therapies, relearning to be a human. So that was a trip, and it was hard I moved here for this job and to grow into my next phase of leadership and to take on this thing, and bam, like I felt like literally my life ended a little bit, and just had to relearn not to just be a human, but to be a human in a new city, in a new job, in a new space. And that was really, really difficult. However, I was in a very supportive place, and I believe in this, and I believe that the universe took care of me, and this thing could have happened anytime throughout my entire life, and it happened when it happened, in a safe place, and in a place that even in my recovery still valued me and still knew I could do the work, and believed and had patience with me, because you have no idea how much patience is required for someone with brain damage. And so just having that safe place to recover and grow into the leader that I always wanted to be is pretty powerful.
I can't imagine. Yeah. From being a safe place in an organization, in yourself, right? Like going, I know, or having the self-belief that you're going to come back around and things
which wasn't always there. Like
absolutely.
We're talking, I'm over 3 years out of this, right? Yeah. So I sound fine. But this was a long process, and I felt defeated a lot of days, and that's the truth. And that's part of, I think, everyone's journey is going through those, bouts of defeat.
I think about often, I guess, when either I'm going to the doctors or my kids or whatever, how lucky we are to live in San Diego and with the healthcare that we have.
I would not. It was right after I moved. Thank goodness. I went to UCSD and got the head of neurosurgery, and he saved my life. And now this is why I can function, talk, do what I'm doing, because I had the access to some of the best healthcare in the nation.
Yeah, like, guys,
it's
just wanted to remind you that we just randomly in conversation, I'm like, how crazy is it that we have amazing healthcare? Like, you want something to happen to you, you're in a really good spot.
Honestly, yes.
It's wild though.
Gonna happen. You want to be in San Diego.
My mom is also a nurse, and from a young kid of going to the hospitals with her and driving past them now. So maybe it's like a nerdy thing that I think about, but I'm like, no, real though, you could have like anything.
It doesn't so my mom is a nurse in interventional radiology. So she knew so she's in Sacramento and was able to communicate and know everything that was happening. So yeah, it was wild.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of the podcasts that you listen to that are, because I wish I could remember the name, about like brain, that kind of stuff, or authors that you love?
Ooh, that is such a good question, and nobody. I don't listen to any brain podcasts. I subscribe to Brain and Life magazine. Love it. It's so brilliant what they're doing. I'm also really active in, there's an organization called the Aneurysm and AVM Foundation. They're based out of San Francisco, but we have our monthly support group on Zoom for everybody all over the nation. And it's great. We support one another and we cry together or laugh at each other because, whatever. And I unfortunately had to recruit one of my friends to be on in the group. And she is so funny, and she was saying that her husband comes and listens to us on support group and has to chuckle because we all will be in the middle of a story and we forget what we're saying. We go,
oh my gosh,
anyway, you guys can, okay, who's next? And we all just have patience for each other because we know what it feels like. And he's like, how are you not losing your mind? Everyone forgot what they were in the middle of saying.
So like what I was saying, I don't actually remember what I was saying.
That's
the best.
Yeah, but we all have patience for each other, and that's really important.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So obviously Voice is SheEO. It's like women, empowering women in their leadership roles. Mm-hmm. What is some advice or, tips, little nuggets that you could leave for our younger generation of leaders, the up and coming leaders?
My gosh. Like I said, don't be afraid, but if you are, do it. Mm-hmm. But have patience with yourself and allow yourself to have the journey of knowing exactly who you are and who you want to be. And that takes time, and it's okay that it takes time. That's part of maturing and growing. You don't have to be like what I thought, 25 and know it all and have the right job and yada, yada, yada. That's not how it works. It really is a journey. And, but along that journey, making sure that you're being intentional in the people that you invite on the journey with you. And don't, if you can, say no. And if you can, not remove people, but remove yourself from situations that will steal your joy or energy, go ahead and do that as early as possible. And just start living with intention.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. Thank you for all you are and all you give to this community, to hear.
Thank you for all you are. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you, and not just from that day at coffee, but through the past few months that we've been able to, be in the same space together. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll talk soon. Thank you all listening for joining us on the first week of season 2 of SheEO Lead-In. We look forward to an incredible season together.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learn how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host Rebecca Jones.